Reverend Queen Michelle. House band. Yes, ma'am.
I need you to help me. It goes like this. I am as God created me. I am a light in this world. I am as God created me. I am. Help me say, I am as God created me. I am a light in this world. I am as God. I am as God created me. I am as God created me. I am a light in this world. I am as God created me. I am. Every voice in the room say, I am. I am. 3 times. I am. Let me hear you say, I am as God. Come on, I am a light in this world. I am as God created me. I am. I am as God. Come on, say, I am a light in this world. I am as God created me. I am. Let me hear the voice in the room say, every voice in the room say. We say it 3 times. I am as God. Yes, I am. You know now, I am as God created me. I am. Let's pray.
Yes. I am as God created me. I am the light of this world. Let us breathe that in. And every cell in the body temple is responding right now to this divine declaration. I am. And I know that this very service is a light unto the world. It is already a transformative happening because the I am is all that I am. This is the truth for each and every aspect of this divine presence, this divine intelligence, this divine love. As we continue to excavate and inquire and know, this is how it works. And so I know that this service is blessed because I call it so. The music ministry is blessed. Youth and family ministry, the AV team, and all the technology that allows for all of us to come together right where we are and know that God is. And so I know that the message is blessed and a blessing. That Reverend Dereca Blackmon, in her sacred yes, allows for that which we all need to hear, that which needs to be said and spoken into divine creation, that which the ears behind the ears have come to experience and know. And knowing that the word spoken, the truth spoken anywhere, is known everywhere, instantaneously and simultaneously. For this power and presence has no separate opposite. It is the I am. And we get to live it out and see it in each and every one. So for this and so much more, I release this word into the divine and perfect action of the law. It is done. It is done well. And we revel in this divine idea as we say, Ashe, Amen, Amin, Aho, and so it is. Oh, thank you, East Bay. Oh, I'm giving thanks today. I'm giving thanks today. And I'm giving thanks for you. If you are here for the first time, if you are in the sanctuary for the first time, I'm going to ask you to please stand. And we won't ask you to say anything, but we're going to ask you to receive a blessing and a love packet. And if you are with us for the first time online, we ask that you check out our guest book online, and please just sign in and give us a hi in the chat and let us know that you're with us. And if you fill out the information, then we will continue to stay in contact with you. So, thank you so much. Everybody, don't have any visitors today? I know we have some visitors online, and how great it is. Yes. So continue to bring family, friends, loved ones. You know that one where it was like, you know what? I want to invite you to come with me to this place. And let's just see how that resonates. Yes? There's a lot of us got here by that way, too. So, I am going to bring forward our very own senior minister, Reverend Dereca Blackmon.
Please give it up for the amazing Carol Johnson Williams, who also had a birthday yesterday. So when you see her, give her some extra love. Oh, hi. It is so good to see you every time I show up here. There's somebody here who I haven't seen in a while that makes me smile. So good to see you. And as has been said, I'm Reverend Dereca Blackmon, senior minister here at East Bay Church. I use she and they gender pronouns. I always like to let you know what my pronouns are because you can't tell what they are by looking at me. Yes, and it's an opportunity to just stay grounded and connected with folks everywhere who are evolving in their consciousness of choice around how they see and name themselves. So this is why we do it. I want to take a moment. I mentioned to you that this month we're going to really spend a good amount of time being grounded in the principles of what we teach here. And for so many of us, the way we got grounded was recitation. So we're going to do our declaration of principles. And I just realized that I didn't ask for it on the screen. So I'm just going to invite, oh, JJ, so great. Awesome. Thank you so much to JJ and Brett in the back. And our AV team is always so on point. So if you will stand if you feel comfortable so you can just get this all in your body. Those of us who have been saying it for a long time will tell you it's in our body. It's in our consciousness. And so we can say this together. I believe in God, the living Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical, necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. I believe in the incarnation of the Spirit in all beings, and that every person is an incarnation of the one Spirit. Hold on right there. Hold on right there. Every person? How many people? Everybody is the incarnation of the one Spirit. We're going to talk about that in the talk today, but I just wanted to remind you it's right here in case you get confused. Let's keep going. I believe that the kingdom of heaven is within us and that I experience this kingdom to the degree that I become conscious of it. I believe that the ultimate goal of life is to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. I believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever and ever expanding. I believe in the unity of all life and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. I believe in my own soul, my own spirit, and my own destiny, for I understand that the life of all is God. And so it is. Yes. Some of y'all know Lisa Nichols used to add on the end, yes, yes. So we'll take a little yes, yes with that one. For those of us who learned it a slightly different way, it's all right. We're going to just get through the little changes that happen. All right. So it's time for announcements. And so we have, as usual, so many good things going on at East Bay. And I'm going to start with an in-person announcement. Kelvin is here with Kevin. And Kelvin and Kevin are going to come and talk to you about our very, very important initiative starting, Pathways to Fatherhood.
Good morning, East Bay. I said good morning, East Bay. All right. So I'm here to talk about Pathways to Fatherhood. It's a program we're going to install here in February on Sunday afternoons. It's in collaboration with the Spiritual Men's Ministry that exists here at East Bay Church, also in collaboration with Alameda County First Five, an agency that does fatherhood programming in the community. This program, these workshops are for men and men only. So, ladies, if you got somebody, bring them on through. Amen. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna introduce you to my comrade here, Kevin Blackmon. He's a co-founder of the Alameda County Father's Core with First Five. Let him say a few things about the program.
Thank you, Kelvin. Thank you, East Bay Church, for having me. I'm a little thrown off. My wife pulled up to drop me off, and the damn car stopped outside. So I'm a little thrown off, waiting on the tow truck right now. So forgive me. We made it, though, right? So yes, the Alameda County Fathers Court, we started back in 2013. The program was set up to advocate on behalf of fathers, to change the narrative and highlight the true narrative of fathers and father figures, and that's that fathers are involved, they're nurturers, they're providers, and those who aren't want to be. And our job as providers is to support those dads with being the dads that they want to be, and support dads who aren't around with getting around. What we talk about is nobody's running around bragging about not being a part of their kid's life. We believe that a series of events happen when dads kind of disengage from the family, and our job as service providers is to support all dads. That's what Kelvin's program is about. That's what the Father's Core is about. So I'm here to, again, lift up dads, not tell dads what they're not doing or what they should be doing, but to support dads with being the dads that they all want to be. So again, thank you for having me, and I'm going to get outside of this tow truck so we can get this car started.
So we're going to get together with the men and say a little something here. You know, this is a fatherhood program, but it's for all men. Father figures, men, some men in the community, supporting young men. So everybody come. If you just want to come hang out with the fellas, you know what I'm saying? Because what happens sometimes is men need to come together with other men. Get to know some of the guys that you see in the church in a different face instead of just this, hello, how you doing? Let's get a little deeper. Let's get a little closer. Let's see what makes us tick. You know, I'm a facilitator, but I'm also a participant in this journey of life, you know? So one more thing, then I'm going to get up out of here. So, you know, when I came into this church, Reverend E suggested that everybody have a Bible verse. Wow. I didn't know that emotion was going to come up like that. But I have a favorite one, right? Ooh. So the Lord heard my cry. From the pit of despair. Way down in the bottom of the pit, y'all. Way down in the bottom. The Lord had to roll up his sleeve to reach down and get me, right? Pulled me up, put my feet on solid ground, and gave me a new song to sing. Lord have mercy, sing this song.
No, you come right over here. Kevin, this is your first time here, right?
Yes.
You missed the part where we welcome first-timers. And this is a praying community, so you're not going to stand up here and tell us you got a transportation problem and we just going to send you outside like, oh, bye, I hope that works out for you. So East Bay, do what we do, please. Stretch your hands out to Kevin. You say, Kevin, we see you. We thank God for you. We see the God in you and in your circumstance. We bless you with perfect transportation and send you on your merry way. And so it is. All right, they're going to be in the back signing people up. Thank you, Kelvin. Thank you. Sister Carol was talking earlier about making sure you bring somebody. So what does it look like to bring somebody to serve this community? That's Kelvin Potts, making sure that what he does in the world is of service here, that we become a place where God shows up. Yeah, I like that. All right, what else we have for, oh, goodness. Please join us for Reverend Dereca Blackmon's installation ceremony as Senior Minister of East Bay Church of Religious Science. January 27th, 2024 at 3 p.m. right here in this very room. Reception to follow at Oak Stop at 5 p.m. There's an RSVP. We really encourage you to do that so we can just plan ahead for all the folks that are coming. I will tell you, my business partner is flying in from Spain. I have friends flying in from Atlanta, including my prayer partner and beloved Buddhist. This is my ministry. Stand up, sweetheart. This is Reverend Aaliyah Brooke Edwards. That's my prayer partner, my sister, and my friend. You want to know where I go? That's the one right there. That's so many times spoken the word for 12 years, 13 years. We've been prayer partners a long time. So glad. And she's in from Atlanta, Japan, the Virgin Islands, and all parts of the world. So thank you all for your excitement about the installation. We are working hard to make this a wonderful space to hold the hundreds of people who are coming to be with us, along with Queen Michelle and the East Bay Ensemble and our own beloved Ricky Byers. So it's going to be a good time, yes. Save the dates. It is time for classes. So treatment and meditation and 5 Gifts of Abundant Life are still open. My class, Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life, is closed for this term. We will have another one. But treatment and meditation with Reverend Ona is an amazing opportunity to deepen the tools to use this philosophy to manifest in your life. So treatment and meditation is going to be 10 weeks on Monday evenings beginning on January 22nd, 6 to 8:30 p.m. It's online. The investment is $200. And Reverend Ona is a force, as you already know from seeing her up here. So I really invite you to get more tools to use this philosophy. And also 5 Gifts of an Abundant Life with soon to be Reverend Arlene. We just always want to say Reverend Arlene because ministry is how you show up. Amen. We have a thing called lay ministers, right? Which is people who don't have degrees and licenses and all of that, but they show up with the heart of service. And so that's why it always comes out of our tongue. But that class, 5 Gifts for an Abundant Life, is 8 weeks on Tuesday evenings beginning in February, on February 6th from 6 to 8:30, also online. You know, if you'd like a more abundant life, I know not all of us want an abundant life. You know, maybe your life is, cool the way it is. But if not, and you want an opportunity to grow in that prosperity, check that class out. Wednesday night power hour. You talk about the powerhouses. Is Reverend Ona, January 17th, 6:15 is meditation, 6:30 is service. So please be with us on Wednesday for another great time. Our food pantry, hosted by Faces, is open on the first and third Wednesdays from 10:30 to 1:30. It is our blessing to bless the community, and you are a part of that community. So come on and get some of this blessing because there's really some wonderful, healthy, nutritious food that Faces puts out, and we work hard to make this available to you. Valentine's is coming, and our Latino ministry is having a night of love, friendship, and unity, a Valentine's Day dinner dance on February 9th. We are just having a real dinner, chicken, salmon, vegetarian options. They'll be here next week, tabling so you can get more information, but you can also sign up online now. It's a unity moment. So let's come and show up with our Spanish ministry and the work that they do and the community that they're bringing in, and let people know that this really is a community that sees us as one across all cultures. I'd love for us to show up in force. That's what happened when they had it 2 years ago, and they were like, okay, you know how that is. Some people have something, and it's the Latino ministry, and then the Latino ministry shows up, or it's the LGBTQ plus ministry, and then the LGBTQ plus folks show up. Let's show up and say, this is a part of who we are. not something separate from who we are. Yes? All right, yes, yes. Okay, I think our announcements are complete, which means it's time for some more musical inspiration. Who is ready for more? So this is our first time having Reverend Queen Michelle show up and show out in her perfect glory. She has with her James Jeffley on bass, Martin Trousseau on drums, and please welcome Bennett Roth Newell on piano. Welcome to East Bay.
I've had my share of life's ups and downs. Fate's been kind. The downs have been few. I guess you could say I've been lucky. Oh, I guess you could say it's all because of you. If anyone should ever write Reverend Camilla my life story, for whatever reason there might be, you'll be there between each line of pain and the glory. Yes, 'cause the best thing that ever happened to you're the best thing that ever happened. Say, you're the best thing that ever happened to me. Now there have been times when times were hard, but somehow I always made it through. Oh, don't worry, for every moment that I spent living or hurting, it was the moment that I found that scripture and I kept on loving you. If anyone should ever write my life story, for whatever reason there might be, your God is there between each line of pain, and glory. 'Cause God's the best thing God's the best thing, God's the best thing. We know it right here today. Say, God's the best thing that ever. Play Bennett, play Bennett, play Bennett. Sometimes musicians have to minister too. You'll be there between each line of pain and glory. Bring it down, band. So you say, you're the best. God's the best thing, Reverend Carmela. Oh, God's the best thing that more time, say, God's the best thing that ever, yes, God's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Oh my goodness. Now, Reverend Queen Michelle said I got something special for you. Because y'all know I'm from Detroit, right? So I'm over here doing the temptation step. Shout out to my dad and my grandma, my dear, and daddy, I love you. I mean, James Cleveland. Oh, she said, wait a minute, hold on. Not just Gladys Knight, honey. You know, God's the best thing that ever happened to me. I don't know about you. I don't know about your life, but that's the best thing right there. This is an amazing time to celebrate. This is a weekend where we celebrate the life and the legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We have many traditions at East Bay, but this is one of our favorites. Every year, we decided that it wasn't enough to just talk about Dr. King and the symbol and say we love you and all of that and cherry pick a little bit of I have a dream so we could say we said something. We have a brother in our community that has committed himself to making sure that we get all of what was said, not just a piece. Welcome, Brother Kablaye.
Good morning, East Bay. I would like to dedicate this speech to my father, whose heavenly birthday is today. I hope he take care of my nerves. I have to bring myself back a few years, 1963. And as I look out, I see all the people on that day that filled that courtyard for this speech. So if I may just absorb your energy for a minute. I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. 50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope for millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chain of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro still languishes in the corners of American society and finds himself an outcast in his own land. And so we've come here today to dramatize a shameful condition. In a sense, we've come to our nation's capital to cash a check. When the architect of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check, a check which has come back marked insufficient funds. But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunities of this nation. And so we've come here today to cash this check, a check that will give us up on demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice. We've also come to this hollow spot to remind America of the fierce urgency of now. This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off or to take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. Now is the time to make real the promise of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all God's children. It would be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of the moment. This sweltering summer of the Negro's legitimate discontent will not pass until there's an invigorating autumn of freedom and equality. 1963 is not an end, but a beginning. And those who hoped the Negro needed to blow off steam and will now be content will have a rude awakening if the nation returns to business as usual. And there will be neither rest nor tranquility in America until the Negro is granted his citizenship rights. The whirlwind of revolt will continue to shake the foundation of our nation until a brighter day of freedom emerges. But there's something I like to say to my people who stand on the warm threshold that leads into the palace of justice. In the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. We must forever conduct our struggle on the high plains of dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protest to disintegrate into physical violence. Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. The marvelous new militancy, which has engulfed the Negro community, must not lead us to a distrust of all white people. For many of our white brethren, as evidenced by their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is tied up with our destiny. And they have come to realize that their freedom is inextricably bound to our freedom. We cannot walk alone. And as we walk, we must make the pledge to always march ahead. We cannot turn back. There are those who would ask the devotees of the civil rights, when will you be satisfied? Well, we can never be satisfied as long as the Negro is the victim of the unspeakable horrors of police brutality. We cannot be satisfied as long as our bodies, heavy with fatigue from travel, cannot gain lodging in the motels of the highways or the hotels of the city. We cannot be satisfied as long as the Negro's basic mobility is from a smaller ghetto to a larger one. We cannot be satisfied as long as our children are stripped of their selfhood and robbed of their dignity by signs stating for whites only. We cannot be satisfied as long as a Negro in Mississippi cannot vote and a Negro in New York believes he has nothing for which to vote. No, no, we are not satisfied, and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. I am not unmindful that many of you have come here through great trials and tribulations. Some of you have come here fresh from narrow jail cells, and some have come from areas where your quest for freedom have left you staggered by the storms of persecution and battered by the winds of police brutality. You are the veterans of created suffering. Continue to work in the faith that unearned suffering is redempted. Go back to Mississippi. Go back to Alabama. Go back to South Carolina. Go back to Georgia. Go back to Louisiana. Go back to the slums and the ghettos of our northern cities, knowing that this situation can and will be changed. So let us not wallow in the valley of despair, I say to you, my friends. For even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day, on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will one day be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, right down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, right down in Alabama, little black boys and little black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and little white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted. Every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places shall be made plain, and the crooked places shall be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to the South with. And with this faith, we will be able to hew out a mountain of despair, a stone of hope. And with this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of this nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. And with this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day, and this will be the day. This will be the day when all God's children will be able to sing with new meaning. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. So let freedom ring from the prestigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the Highton and Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring. And when this happens, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we're free at last.
Well, come on, East Bay. I know it's some of you who were there, and I know it's a couple folks who were hearing it for the very first time. Some of us were hearing it again and hearing it a little bit differently. Some of us shed tears, both at the beauty of what it was and the sadness of what it still is. This is our opportunity to reflect and be inspired that the work is not yet complete. It's an opportunity to be inspired to hold the high watch, to hold a vision. My friend Van Jones, who loves Reverend E, by the way, keeps a little cassette tape of Reverend E, used to say Dr. King had a dream, not a complaint. Do you understand? He wasn't just trying to get off the back of the bus. He was talking about little black children and little white children holding hands, which at the time was a complete impossibility in the minds of too many. That's a dream. That's a vision that he put forward. And let's be clear, it wasn't just a vision for little black children. It was a vision for little white children to be reaching their hands out. See, sometimes when we hear about this legacy, we think about it as some people giving and some people receiving. but he talked about freedom being inextricably tied. And it's still that way. There's a group of folks who worked on prison abolition, and they said they're called All of Us or None. Because until all of us are free, none of us are free. So we can't wish for freedom for ourselves and not want it for other people. We can't talk about the opportunity to make change and let the change be just that the positions are reversed. And now I'm in power and I hate you. We have expressions that we use to castigate the people around us, to talk about their limitedness. And we've got to ask ourselves, if we're going to practice this philosophy, even when it gets uncomfortable, are we still going to know the truth that we're all one? Or are we going to decide that by race or by gender or by sexual orientation or socioeconomic class that there's no hope for you? That we can throw away your privilege as being so oppressive that I spend all my time thinking about what you're not. Because that's not the legacy of who we are in this world, and it is especially not the legacy of who we are in this country. Who we are in this country is you're better than that. I believe in the possibility for you and I to be moving as one, and that vision, when put forward in front of everyone, inspire people, all people, to reach for their best selves. So much more we want to say about that, but I would be remiss if I didn't say, we want to say thank you, Kablaye. Because, Kablaye been doing that a long time here at East Bay. And there's always this temptation to be like, okay, well, we're going to do something else this year. But every single time, you see the emotion of it. You see the power of it. And it's important that we don't forget it. Because that is our philosophy writ with lightning. Oh, so speaking of our philosophy, I promised you that this month we would go through the very traditional version of January in the old school science of mind, religious science practice, which is to do the first section of the Science of Mind textbook. There's 4 chapters, and they are the thing itself, which we did last week, the way it works, which is this week, what it does, which is next week, and then at the end of the month, we're going to get into how to use it. So today, we're taking a look at the way it works. And so I want to start with this little piece that Ernest Holmes said that last week I talked a little bit about, us not getting stuck on Ernest Holmes and how some people in the philosophy will be like, oh, sacrilege. But he said it himself, right here on page 35. The science of mind is not a special revelation of any individual. It is rather the culmination of all revelations. We take the good wherever we find it, making it our own insofar as we understand it. The realization that good is universal and that as much good as any individual is able to incorporate in his life is his to use is what constitutes the science of mind and spirit. This is what we said in the Declaration of Principles. God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. We believe in truth wherever it is taught. So Ernest Holmes himself, this is one of the things that I was like, okay, well, I don't know about this religion made by a white man. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get down with that. Let's just tell it. But what he said was, it's not about me. This is not about me and what I think. This is about a collection of the revelations. And so this is why we can and should change this philosophy, because we still continue to collect those revelations. So it needs to be what it says it is, which is open at the top. That means it makes room for all the new ways and levels that we understand our personal relationship with God. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when I talk about the non-binary experience of folks around gender, it can be a little uncomfortable if that's not something we think we grew up with. But we're talking about the oneness of all mankind, so we've got to reach out a little bit outside our comfort zone and have some understanding that open at the top means we've got to make space for people as they show up in their perfect individuality and reach across this divide that says, I'm not down with that, which means you and I are not one. I mean, ain't that what it means? I'm not down with that. It means you and I are not one. You're doing something that's beyond my perception of what God is. That's not what we do here. So I just wanted to be clear about that. So this other part that I love on that same page is he's really getting clear about what God is. If we're going to talk about the way it works, we're going to have to talk about what it is. And he says there's a universal mind, spirit, intelligence that is the origin of everything. And he goes on to say, this universal life and energy finds an outlet in and through all that is energized. There is one life back of everything that lives. There is one energy back of all that is energized. This is so critical to the science of mind philosophy. What we're saying is there's only one of us. And we like that when it comes to, we're all from different religions and we're all from different walks of life and all from different relatives and relationships. And we're all good until when we say there's one behind every life, that means the one you don't like. That means the one you no longer speak to. The one you cannot forgive. The one you turn on the television and hate on all day long. That one. The one running for office. That one. Oh, but that one's bad. That one's going to ruin everything. It's all going to hell in a handbasket. We don't even believe in hell, but you at home believing it. Oh, it's going to hell now. If that happens, the devil is taking office. Reverend Deborah used to say, we're not electing God. You got to make up your mind about whether it's one life back of everything, one energy back of everything. Because when we come in contact with conflict, we're prone to make it other, make it something else. I mean, we could talk about him, but we could also talk about what's going on in your house. Oh, that's too close, Reverend Dereca. Now that for sure. Or we could talk about what went on in your childhood, the energy that you came from, that you overcame. That's all right. Some of us, we had to overcome some things. But to the degree that we think the thing that we overcame was not us, was not God, was not life, was not perfect, we suffer. Because when we cannot forgive, we create our own prison. We so busy trying to keep somebody else in the prison of our life, then we got to become a prison guard. They're in the prison of our mind. We got to stand there and make sure they don't get out. We got to stand there and tell somebody else, you can't like them. You can't. Do you know what they did to me or my friend or my mama or my child? Now you got to go to jail. The jail of my mind. This is the science of the mind. And if I put you in the jail of my mind, then I've got to guard you and keep you there. And that's a job I don't want. That's a job I don't want. I never wanted to be a prison guard. I don't believe in prisons. I believe in the abolition of prisons. So you got to decide. When we were doing, this is the 15th anniversary of the death, the killing of Oscar Grant III. It's the 15th anniversary. And when we were out there marching, we started talking about the importance of the arrest of the officers, not just Johannes Meserly, but all the officers that were on the platform. And I was out there demanding, these are our demands, you got to arrest him. And then the prison abolitionists, Angela Davis and those other folks were like, we can't get behind that because we don't believe in prison for anyone. And I was like, well, what are we going to do with him? And that's a good question because it's the question we need to be answering when it's our children, when it's our brothers, when it's our mothers. That's the question we're going to have to answer at some point, what we're going to do with all the people we're going to throw away. They have this thing in the younger generations where they talk about toxic masculinity, which I believe is a real thing. But men are trash? Nah, I can't get with that. I can't get with that. We've got to make a decision now about where we're going with this because it's those same ideas that get flipped around on us, and then we have a prison industrial complex. Because they got us to vote again. We keep talking about how can the Republicans get people to vote against our own interests? Well, we voted for 3 strikes. Don't act like it happened without the middle class black folks. It surely did. Uh-oh. When hip-hop came around, we do not support those thugs. Meanwhile, T.I. was out there making a song called I'm Praying for Help. We didn't hear that. We just heard the co-opting of our children and forgot they were children. Somebody said we should be afraid of the people in our neighborhood. When did that start happening? And so when Kelvin and folks talk about a fatherhood program, a program for men, what we're talking about is a specific group of people that has been targeted and plucked out of our community, and not just in the last 20 years, not just in the last 30 years. If you've ever seen a movie called Claudine, she went all the way back there with James Earl Jones and Diane Carroll. It's the story about welfare and a woman and a man who love each other and want to be married, but they can't be married because welfare dictates that there can't be a man in the home for her to be there and receive the 40 acres and a mule that she's due to raise her children if he's present. And then we try to blame single parent families on the woman and on the black folks and on the poverty. No, this was the law. You cannot get support if he's present. We forget about that part. Why do we forget about that part? Because they want us to. Because now we can blame each other again. These men out here abandoning their families. That was what happened in slavery. That was what happened in Jim Crow. That was by design in welfare. So stop with this, they ain't right. They don't want to. They don't care. That's not who we are. We are the ones that hold the light. Dr. King said, darkness cannot cast out darkness. Only light can do that. And it don't take much. You just go in there with the light to all the places where hatred lives and see what happens. See what happens. Okay, more. There's so much good in here. I'm only on the first page of the thing. Let's get in here. Ain't no stopping us now. Okay, I'm with that. Oh, my goodness. So I said there's one life back of all life. And Ernest Holmes says, our thought and emotion is the use we make, consciously or unconsciously, of this original creative thing that is the cause of everything. So I want to talk about our thought and emotions. That this is the way we decide to use or not use or misuse the thing itself. The way it works is we get an opportunity to see how we're going to interact with it. So the choice is yours. It works if you work it. So you have this energy, this power, this principle that's divinely good, and you can see that it's divinely good and use that good in your life, or you can decide that God is good sometimes and then have your life be good sometimes. Your way you see the thing is the way it works in your life. It's not confusing. Your emotions and thoughts, when they're not reflection of this idea that God is all there is, that God is good, that God loves you, that God is love for you and everybody else, your thought and emotion gets caught up. It works if you work it. But it also goes on to say, if God is to interpret himself to man, he must interpret himself through man. The Spirit can make no gift that we do not accept. It works if you let it. Here it is. The great thing that created you, that is all good, is wanting to give you something. But it cannot give it to you if you don't accept it. Ice Cube said, I can give it to you, but what you gonna do with it? They be like, I love to just quote some Ice Cube up here sometimes. It just makes me so happy. Do you understand what I'm saying? Is that God wants to give you the kingdom. And when I talk about God, I'm not talking about God up there. I'm talking about the God in you that's showing you it's okay. You don't have to be afraid. I got you. You're smart enough. You got enough talent. You're ready. You're ready. You don't have to wait anymore. There's enough money. There's enough men, women, non-binary folks. You can have a partner. But you have to be willing to accept the gift that I give. What are they talking about? Look a gift horse in the mouth. All these horse analogies. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're the horse. The Bible said by the pool of Bethesda, the man just laid there and said, oh, everybody keeps coming and they get in front of me and it's supposed to be my turn and I don't know why I can't get in the pool. And God just said, wilt thou be made whole? God cannot give us what we're not willing to accept. There's this idea that, well, I don't think I'm ready for that promotion. Some of us get loved really good and get uncomfortable. Well, I don't think that I'm going to be able to live up to their expectations. And, you see me as good, but you don't know. You don't know. I got another side. Who are you talking to? I mean, you proclaim all these negative things about yourself. Guess what's going to happen? You're limiting the opportunity to be blessed. Stop talking bad about yourself. Stop talking bad about yourself, even to yourself. That's where the change comes. And the thing is, we can change our minds. He said we suffer because we are ignorant of our true nature. Our belief sets the limit to our demonstration of principle. Our belief sets the limit to our demonstration of a principle that is without limit. It's not limited. Beliefs produce limitations. Other beliefs will change them. It works if you trust it. You have to believe that God is big enough, that there's no time and space in God, that there's no big and small in God, that there is no what you did before means you don't deserve it right now. You have to trust it. There's no way out of this. There is no, these bills are too much. There is no, I've got this diagnosis and there's no way I'm ever going to heal from it. It's a death sentence. What? Who said? Medicine is an imperfect science. It's imperfect. People get diagnoses every day and get healed from it. I'm not saying that there aren't people who have cancer aren't going to die. I'm just saying you have a choice of what you're going to believe when you get the diagnosis. And it's this part that you have to change. There's no way. I can't. This is the worst. I mean, one of my best friends had a cancer, and they called it triple negative. That was the name of it. I was like, why do they name these things? It's the worst kind. It's the most dangerous kind. It's the least rate of cure. Whatever it is, if it's a 99% rate, it's still 1%. And it's 99% of 100,000 people. How many people we still got available? You could be one of those. It's not about just positive thinking, though. Let me tell you what he said about that. This is not about mental coercion. Let me just read it from right here on page 39. There is no mental coercion in this. We do not will things to be done. Things are brought into being not by will, but by the power of the self-assertive truth. What does that mean? You have to know that perfect wellness and perfect wholeness is not dictated to or limited by the doctor. That your ability to be able to buy this house or have good housing and safe transportation for yourself, for your family, whoever, it's not limited by the bank. We have testimonies all over the place that say, I thought I was broken. What did Kelvin tell you? I thought there was no way out. But see, this opportunity for how prayer works is not to say, okay, I'm going to think real hard, and I'm going to just pray every day, and then I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to manifest. And the reason why that's important is because some of us are thinking so hard we are wearing ourselves out. In the 12-step program, a friend of mine told me figuring it out is not a step. That's how we work this philosophy sometimes. You understand what I'm saying? I've got to figure out, I got to do more, I'm not doing enough, I'm not doing it right. That's not how this works. You're not coercing God to bless you. You're not coercing your mind to cooperate. You're not getting out of your own way. You're just stating the truth, which is God is greater than any circumstance in my life. No matter who said it. No respecter of personalities, no respecter of conditions. God is greater than any circumstance in my life. So whatever is presented to you, that's the truth. I'm not telling you to not go to the doctor. Please don't tell them that Reverend Dereca said that. Go, listen, hear all the facts, but don't be confused about the difference between the facts and the truth. The truth is God is greater than any circumstance in my life. That's the truth. So if we hold on to that truth, we have to understand that what's going on for us is not a battle between good and evil. We don't preach or teach duality in this philosophy. And that's sometimes how we treat our mind. We're in a battle with it. We're in a battle with our thoughts. We wish we could stop thinking these bad things. How do we make ourselves stop? This is why meditation is so important. You know, I say sit still and be quiet, and it's like, I say take a breath, and it's quiet. I'm like, a breath, like this. If I just tell you to take a breath and you feel some resistance to taking a breath, you got to check in with yourself about what's really going on there. Okay, so let's try it again. Let's take a breath. Now look at that. It's not because you need a mint. There's a block to just that. Something that you're already doing is breathing. But just being intentional about it feels uncomfortable. Silence feels like that to some of us. Meditation, just putting a name on being quiet, feels like that to some of us. But that's not the truth about what it is. It's just a chance to notice what goes on in your mind without judging it. Just to sit there and notice what goes on in your mind without judging it. You may find what goes on in your mind quite interesting if you just sit and listen to it for a minute. Just try it for a minute. Sit and listen to what goes on in your mind without judging it. That's the science. To let go of your attachment. My Buddhist sister, it reminded me to look this up. I said to myself, she's coming, I got to look up a good Buddhist quote. This is my favorite one. This is Zen Buddhism here. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Do you understand what that means? Stop waiting for God to come out of the sky and just hit you, boom, and now you're healed. Hit you, boom, and now you got finances. Hit you, boom. That's not how it works. Get out of the way. Because it might not look like you think it's going to look. And then you're so surprised. Because all you're doing is chopping wood and carrying water. Chopping wood and carrying water. You look up and you got a house. What do you think that wood was for? You look up, your whole body is cleansed of whatever disease there was. You just look up. You don't always have to know how it's going to work. Just get still, notice your thoughts, and let them pass. This creative process is the way it works. We talked last time about the seed that we plant of our intention and the soil that just creates whatever it is that we put into it, and the plant or the effect that comes from that seed. Dr. King, as Kabbalah reminded us, said we refuse to believe that the bank of justice is bankrupt. We're going to just get that idea out of the way. And we're talking about at a time where people were being murdered, who had grandparents who were lynched, who were being segregated, who were beaten, dogs sicked on them, hoses, the children spat at. We refuse to believe. We refuse to believe. But he also talked about the fierce urgency of now. He talked about the marvelous new militancy. Did you hear that part? What do you call militancy? So you can also stop judging that. My daughter went out to the port and closed it down twice yesterday. Because it's time to free Palestine. It's time to have a ceasefire. It's time to say we don't support war anywhere that it's happening. And what does that have to do with us? The way we do one thing is the way we do anything. If we're going to stand up for ourselves, we're going to stand up for our body, we're going to stand up for our families, we got to stand up for their families because there's only one of us. Isn't that where we started? There's only one of us. It doesn't matter how many miles there are between us and them. This is the same thing that we're trying to use. The way it works is we refuse to believe in the lie of war. And that war is happening in our own minds every day. So the way it works is that you work it. The way it works is that you let it work you. You accept it when it comes in. The way it works is that you trust it. And I'll just remind you, because I love the 12-step programs. Yes, we're going to have some here. People keep asking me, yes, that's going to happen. We're going to get that together. But when you close out a 12-step program, folks will say to you, it works if you work it. So work it because you're worth it. That's what we need to do. So now it's time for prayer. I'm going to invite the practitioners who are available to pray after service, if you would come to the front of the room now. So, if you are in need of prayer, if you're willing to accept the truth and how it's available to you, you can come forward. I'll go in the back too, so we have plenty of people to pray with you, and you can come forward now. You know, I'm an old school preacher. There's no reason to leave here with anything you don't want. And if you put a prayer request in this box, just know that right here and right now we go within. And we recognize the presence and the power of God. And we know that peace that passes all understanding is the truth about who and whose we are. It's the truth about why we're here. The way it works is we recognize that God and I are one. And it's true for me, it's true for each and every person here. There is nothing we have ever done or said that can interfere with our divine inheritance. So I am the place where God shows up. You are the place where God shows up. There is no spot where God is not in the history of whoever told you whatever thing about what you can have. So I'm just declaring right now that the whole situation has changed because we're looking at it differently. Now we're saying there is no power greater than God. So whatever the diagnosis is, whatever the prognosis it is, whatever the block there is, whatever belief I have that I'm not enough, that you're not enough, that he's going to take over and we all going to suffer. Whatever belief we have, that you're so different than me, that I can't forgive you, that I can't see God in you. It's banished into the nothingness from which it came. And now we feel a healing balm inside of us when we let go of that stone, of that false belief that we are bound to be suffering. And we recognize that it's God's good pleasure to give us the kingdom. We recognize and we choose right now to just trust God, to accept the gift that God is giving to us. It's right in front of us and we accept it now. And I just want to be grateful. I just want to be thankful for everything that happened here today, for the singing, for the praying, for the believing, for the giving, for the receiving. I want to be grateful that I showed up, that each of us showed up, because something's different now. And so I do the most important thing that I can. I let go. I let go of my story. I let go of my story that I'm not good enough. I let go of that habit of beating myself up. I let go of the idea that I got to figure it out. I let go and I just leave it on the altar. I take it to God in prayer, and I trust God to perfect that which concerns me. And if this is a truth you want to claim for yourself, I invite you to join me by saying Ashe, Amen, and so it is. If you'd like prayer, please come up. The practitioners will take you right now. I don't know about you, but I'm going back there. Now it's our time for gracious giving. Now it's time for our gracious giving. One day that's going to happen on the first try. Join me in reading our offertory statement. As I give thanks for the good now flowing into my life, I gladly share that good with others. The more I give, the more I receive. And so it is.
I am a light in this world.
Okay, so there's some amazing things happening. We're preparing for the installation, and so folks have said it's important that we let you know what's going on here. There are some really, really good things happening. We're beautifying the church, and first of all, I want to thank you, because in case you haven't noticed, we already had painting done. We got the heaters on. It's nice and toasty, but there's more, and so we're going to share with you a couple of pictures of what it is that chair covers are coming. You like our little fancy purple? Thank you, Ma, who helped us find something lovely. And then we're going to have some wood doors instead of kind of pulling curtains. Y'all excited about some wood doors? Yes? And look at this. A stained glass. It's like 80 pounds that would go up here, a stained glass with a light box of our religious science symbol. These are the wood panels that would be behind us. We painted, but we decided we wanted a different kind of look. And we'll have new carpet up here. JJ's working on some lighting for the installation. And we need your help to make all of this manifest. The budget for all of this is about $25,000. And so some of it we've already received donations for, and more would be helpful. So we appreciate the tithes that you've given. And now we're going to do the old school building fund. And, it's a, Pat, come on, let's talk a little bit about what's happening. I'm going to let Pat talk to you about the building fund.
Good morning, East Bay. Good morning. So for those that don't know me, I'm Pat Baxter, the board president here at East Bay. Thank you. And I really want to thank you, because East Bay stands up, and we know we are abundant. We are claiming that abundance, and we continue to do that. So with this installation coming up, one of the things we thought beyond the installation at the board. On the board, we said, okay, great, we can have this installation off campus. And we looked at the cost for doing that and said, well, what about the fact that we can have it right here? Because we were looking at that East Bay was limited in space. But we had to go somewhere else to know that, no, it's not limited in space. We need to work with what we have and beyond. And in doing that, we saw that the fact that if we were to beautify our current space, as we know that we were planning to do a whole lot of things anyway, beautify this space, and it will live beyond just that going somewhere else, spending all that money, and leaving it right there. So as we beautify this space, we're looking for your support, your continued support, because we already thank you for what you've done. And I don't know if you noticed that it's a little warmer in here. Okay. So we want to say thank you, and amen to that, because we were able to get 2 furnaces installed with the support and just the generous support of our members right here. Okay, so we thank you for that. But there's a lot more that's going to take place, and the installation is on the 27th, and we listened to Reverend Dereca stand here and say that we got folks coming from everywhere, and we are so grateful to have a minister that has that reach, okay? So we want to celebrate her as well as make sure that we are presenting ourselves the best for our Reverend Dereca and our community. So, as we have a $25,000 budget on this, so we're just asking for your support. We are establishing a building fund, so everything that goes into that fund, if it goes beyond what's going to cover the installation, that's good. And we will have other things that we'll be using it for. So if you can, support, and we really appreciate it. So I'm going to turn it over to Arlene King, who is our COO. Okay.
I'm just going to keep it real simple. She told you what to do. I'm just going to tell you how to do it, because that's what you want to know, right? You can go to your phone, you go to our website, you have a building fund line there already. You can go to our kiosk in the back where Reverend Michelle is standing. you can do it there. If you need to make a donation with your credit card, also, you can go in the bookstore. We take your money, however. And if you want to leave a check today, we're okay with that as well. Amen? So this is done, right? Next week, we're going to come with some good news of what we've already accomplished and what's ahead of us. So thank you very, very much.
If you need an envelope, the ushers, I'm telling you, I grew up in the old church, and I'm like, I never thought I'd be doing the building fund, right? If you need an envelope, the ushers have one for you. If you'd like to do a check, you can raise your hand, an envelope will be brought to you. There's an option on the envelope that says building fund, or you can get it as you're leaving. I think we need to bless the offering that we have as you consider giving an additional gift. Come on, Carol. You know, Carol prays so good. You don't want to miss out on that.
Thank you, Reverend Dereca. Thank you for these gifts. Thank you for the giver. Thank you for the amplification of all that is being given and shared so that the entire planet may benefit as we receive, we share in the revelation of all that is made manifest as good and very good. And we let it be, and so it is. All right. Woo! Fabulous things are happening at East Bay. Yes, and I'm just grateful to be a part of this community. When we were in class, Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life, one of the questions that Rev. Dereca asked us, who were TAs, how long we've been at East Bay. And I was like, wow, how long have I been at East Bay? And so it's been over 25 years. And we have done a lot of things in these years. And it's been here long before us, and it will continue to be here long after us because of what we are doing right now. So I am thankful for it all. And we are looking forward to the ceremony. We call it a wedding ceremony. We're getting hitched with Reverend Dereca and each other and this divine vision at the East Bay Church of Religious Science. So let's stand and take a look at each other and see the God in each other. In recognizing the dream, in recognizing the opportunity to cash the check, in understanding that it doesn't matter if it looks like canceled check, bankrupt. No, we said we're not believing that. And we get to choose what we believe. And we get to choose what we see in each other and what we know about ourselves and the life that we are creating, that we are co-creating with the divine, as the divine. So for all of this and so much more, for that divine idea that came through as we heard the prayer, the songs, Kablaye, Reverend Dereca, and all of that came through, how the divine speaks to and through you right now. We take that into the week, we take that into the day, and we share that with others, knowing that as we share with others, we are amplifying it and anchoring it within ourselves. God is, and all is truly well. We let it be so. As we say, Ashe, Amen, Amin, aho. And so it is.